Hello and welcome to another podcast, Pontifications, with me, Evo Terra. Today I'm going to be talking about a secret of how we can make podcasting grow. Now, I talked about this every Friday. I do a live Q&A show, and I went on a rant on Friday about this, and I have thought about it over the weekend, and I'm prepared to talk a little bit deeper about it. And if you didn't watch it, that's fine. You don't need the rant. I'll just kind of get into the things that we need to do. So you may have noticed in the title of the video, there's something called an IHNI, or an INI. Sure, let's call it an INI. INIs. How can INIs actually help? Well, you know, in the NPR world, you may have heard of something called driveway moments. Driveway moments is something that NPR has been talking about for at least a decade I can recall, probably longer, where they want people to have these driveway moments where they get home and are listening to the show and they just don't want to leave the car when they park in their driveway because the show's not over. They're so compelled, either when they get home or they get to their office and the show is continuing, that they just sit and they just have to wait. That's a driveway moment. And I'm kind of stealing that idea. But instead of a driveway moment, what I want us to have, what I want podcasts to provide, are I had no idea moments. INIs. I had no idea. Now, where NPR wants to do this for the people who are listeners of NPR, I want INIs for the population, the some 80%, depending on how you count, of people who don't think podcasting has anything to offer them. And if you listen to people who don't regularly listen to podcasts, and you ask them why, a fair number of them will say, well, there's nothing on it for me. Or they have preconceived notions that are wrong. Maybe they've listened to a podcast and it's just two dorks with microphones talking. Maybe they didn't see anything different or hear anything different than they get on the radio show. Maybe it was an interview with someone they didn't care about, and they didn't care. So they thought that's what podcasting was. Because if you ask non-listeners, they tend to think that podcasting is very much one thing. If you ask several podcasters, they will say the same thing, that there's not a lot of range. When we all know that there is. There's a vast amount of range in podcasting. But telling someone that podcasting can be literally about anything isn't helping them make a decision. Because they have unlimited access to TV, to the internet, to radio, to newspaper, to books, all these things. The amount of entertainment someone has is, for all points and purposes, unlimited. So telling them they can get anything they want in podcasting space isn't really helping. What we need to create are podcasts with any moments. I had no idea. Experiences, not any moments, any experiences. Once someone who is not a listener, a podcaster, because they have a preconceived notion about what podcasts are, and they're wrong. Once they have an any experience, I had no idea, they will say, I had no idea that's what podcasting could be. And then, because they are curious in nature, because you've tempted them, because they said, I get it now, they will then be much more likely to go find something else. Now that they have an idea, they will start looking for other things. See, I think the problem is we focus in on talking, when someone says, tell me about a good podcast I should listen to, we tend to go with the most popular podcast. Well, just listen to the top 20 that's on whatever podcasting app that you have. And I think that's a notoriously terrible idea. Because with few things in this world, best does not equate to most popular. Best is rarely the most popular opinion. By definition, most popular is commoditized. It reaches the greatest number. And I suppose mathematically, the person that you're talking to who doesn't think podcasting has anything for them might very well be statistically more likely to that like which everyone else does, but I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I think that's a poor first experience for someone just listening to the standard stuff they can get anywhere. I think they need something special, something that leaves them with the I had no idea experience. I put down a couple of thoughts of shows that I think would be really good, shows that I think do a good job of providing that I had no idea experience the first time. And see if you want to try this yourself. There's a new show called Everything's Alive. Now, if you're a podcast listener, you probably already know about it. If you're not a podcast listener and you're watching, here's my challenge to you. Go to everythingisalive.com and listen. That's what podcasting can be. Notice, podcasters, I'm not sending someone to an app. I'm not telling you to subscribe. I'm not suggesting what they use. I'm saying go to everythingisalive.com and listen. That is what podcasting can be. I have others. Moonshot.audio. I wish it was easier to listen on that page, honestly. As podcasters, if we want to be one of those podcasters, the gateway drug, if you will, into podcasting, we need to do a better job of making sure that the experience when we get to the landing page, our website page, is better. Like, why in the hell isn't there a big listen now player right there? Not talking about that. Back on topic. Providing people good experiences, good I had no idea experiences, or just knowing of shows that produce excellent I had no idea experiences is where you want to send the reluctant, the recalcitrant, the would-be listener. Not to the most popular shows. Not, in many cases, if not most cases, not to your own show, but to that which gives the greatest experience. Listen, if you're someone has never been to Netflix for the first time ever, where are you going to send them? Probably to places like Orange is the New Black, because they can't get that kind of entertainment on their television. You're not going to send them to reruns of Brooklyn 999. It's a funny show and all, but that's just like TV they can get anywhere. It's the special content, those things that make them go, I had no idea. That's what podcasting is. So as good stewards of podcasting, that's podcasters and hardcore podcast listeners, we need in our pocket a list of websites that look good on mobile, that'll immediately let someone listen, that provide an I had no idea moment right out of the gate. As soon as they listen, it should be like the first few lines of The Road. If you haven't read The Road, go get the book, go on Amazon, I'll give you a preview if you want. Just read that first page. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I think the people who are reluctant listeners, recalcitrant listeners, when they hear that sort of experience will go, I had no idea. And then they will continue on their journey. Once they know that their preconceived notions about podcasting are wrong. We need to, if not provide, we need to know where someone can go to get I had no idea experiences. IHNIs for the win. I'm not so sure that's the greatest acronym or greatest hashtag to use, but nonetheless, I'm calling them IHNIs from now on, unless someone has a better name, and I would love to hear that better name. There's my challenge to you. Go find just five websites for shows, podcasts, that deliver an IHNI experience, where someone new listens and says, I had no idea that's what podcasting is. I'm in. Because I think it just takes one. I think it just takes one of those shows to get some interested. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments wherever you're watching this video. And if you have a business and you would like to create a podcast which provides that I had no idea experience, let's talk. My name is Evo Terra, and I launch podcasts. More about me at podcastlaunch.pro. Email me, evo@podcastlaunch.pro. Be back tomorrow with another podcast pontifications. Cheers.